The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another recap edition, World Series recap edition of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzalina, and I am joined once again by a guy who is 2 wins away from being a World Series champion, Regz. Regz.
Two more, Topper. Two more. Two more, Topper.
They're knocking on the door, Regz. What a performance tonight.
I mean, I'm not sure where we're going to start because as we just discussed,
I'll tell you where we start.
You're not, you didn't tell me. I asked you not to tell me the topics just so I could purely react on emotion.
Here's where we start. We start with Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude just does. I mean, that Braves start aside in the postseason, right? Like,
yep.
I mean, there is just no situation that phases him. There's none. He's just the calm, cool, collected guy every single time he takes the ball. Scattered 3 hits.
Yep.
Walked 1. Never ever felt threatening. Never.
No, I think you always expected him to get out of it with how he was pitching. Maybe the most threatening situation was his last inning, right?
Yeah.
2 guys on, but still 2 outs. And even Smoltz made a point of it, one of the few points he made for the Phillies, was that, you'd rather have these guys on with 2 outs, right? 2 outs, It's okay. You still can pitch the same way you've been doing. No outs, it's a little bit different. So he always put himself in the position to be as best set up as possible. And I think back to the Braves start, I think what we're forgetting in all this kind of craziness that's happening and unbelievable run this team has been on, this is for all of these guys outside of Kyle Schwarber, this is their first, and David Robertson, this is their first time in the playoffs.
Harp's been in them. Right?
Okay, yeah, but still,
guys in them.
A lot of guys. Ranger, right, has never been in the playoffs. So you come up for your first start, there would be plenty of guys who wouldn't pitch their best away in their first playoff start. So, but his appearance in the CS to get them to the World Series, coming in, throwing 2 pitches, getting 2 outs, you've sort of seen him settle down and become the Ranger that we expect him to be. And it was great that he was in this position at home in the first game at home in a crucial game 3. We talked about this on the last podcast that you win this one and the momentum carries over to tomorrow and the crowd is that much more into it. And then when you're 1 win away on Thursday, that crowd, which you will be a part of, is going to be it's going to be the best that we've seen throughout the playoffs because you just keep building that momentum. And it's like you said, you start with Ranger because just coming out to hold the Astros to no runs is not easy. This team is very good. We've seen it. This team is very good.
Yeah.
And yet again, we see that they were not prepared to step into Citizens Bank Park and hear what a real World Series crowd sounds like.
Yeah, so I you gave me 2 directions that I wanted to go in here, actually 3 really. But let's kind of finish the Ranger conversation here because they get him to 2 runs right away in the first. He comes back out, doesn't allow anything. They add the 3rd run, he comes out. They don't even look like they have a prayer against him. I'm so tired of the Gurriel choppers.
Oh my God, yeah,
end up being
30 mile per hour hits. Yeah,
they're exhausting. They are exhausting. just he all the way up to the fifth inning, and he got the first two batters in every inning.
Yeah,
like he and then he kind of lost it a little bit, and kind of did his Ranger thing. But what I found to be the point in the game where I think if we'd have had this conversation like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I probably would have been in a panic state. But Topper has gotten to a point where every button that dude pushes is the right button.
Yeah.
So when he left Ranger in to face Altuve, I was like, he's going to get him.
Yeah.
He's going to get him. And if you do take him out there, you're probably not bringing Bilotti back out in the sixth.
Right.
So you're going to have to use an extra arm. And you trust your guy there. You trust your guy to go and get the out against an aggressive swinger.
Yeah.
And he did it. So again, we've talked so much about Rob Thompson and what he's been able to do, but this to me is just one example of so many, and it's minute in the grand scheme of the game, but so important to what that then allowed him to do because of what the Phillies did right after that.
This is what we're talking about. Joe Girardi made all these decisions wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Thompson has used his feel of this team. Joe Girardi managed based on his rules. And he didn't manage based on what the players were actually doing on the field. He just had preconceived notions of how things should go. And he wouldn't waver from that. Rob Thompson is doing what we all hope managers and coaches and all those people will do, is to make your decisions based off the feel of the game. Because you can't go into a game just saying, this is how it's going to work out today, because it never does. And if you're stuck in that mindset, you're going to make a lot of wrong decisions. Rob Thompson continues to put his players in the best position to succeed by making decisions that are based on that specific game, not yesterday, not the next game, not 3 games ahead of now, not 3 games before now. In this game, what can I do to put my guys in the best position to win?
Right. And I think tonight in that 5th inning, he gets through the 5th, and then, he had 2 options after that. Yeah, had Alvarado getting loose because they were in that 2-3-4 part of their order.
Yep.
But what that allowed the Phillies offense to do then was add 3 more runs.
Right.
And I don't know if you were one of the people that I ended up texting. I said, if Alvarado, if you don't get any runs, bring Alvarado on.
You did. We did text about this.
And if not, then you go to Brogdon or Bilotti.
Yep.
And I liked that he went to Brogdon there, because when you think about your high leverage guys right now, Alvarado, Dominguez, Eflin, Robertson are like your 4, high leverage guys. Alvarado and Dominguez being your top 2.
Yep.
Eflin and Robertson being that next tier. And then the tier right below that is like Bilotti, Brogdon-ish areas, right? But yeah, a hand might even be below Bilotti.
I mean, just because
Brogdon
he's like the only other lefty.
Sure. But what that then did was, all right, then we'll go to Brogdon. We'll go to Brogdon here and get a few outs. And that's exactly what happened. And it lined up then perfectly that in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, he was able to go to guys that he's not necessarily going to have to lean on.
Yep.
Like Gibson and Nelson. They ate 2 innings. I mean, I was scrolling Twitter right before I popped on here, and there are Astro fans trying to really psych themselves up, saying, well, the Phillies had to use so many relievers tonight.
No, they didn't.
You probably won't see Nelson again in this series unless there's another blowout. And Gibson might throw in the bullpen game if Eflin doesn't have to throw tomorrow.
Right.
Or if Eflin has to throw tomorrow. Sorry. But again, what Topper did for himself tonight was put himself in a position for hopefully good Aaron Nola tomorrow. I mean, it is all in front of him. Like the crowd, the series lead, there's no pressure. Like you just got to go out and pitch your game. You saw what happens if you do that. If you pitch your game and locate like Ranger did tonight with Nola's stuff, like it's not even going to be a contest. And with the crowd, everything. So if you get good Nola tomorrow and get through 6, depending on your lead, you can really go shut down with with Robertson, Dominguez, and Alvarado. You can absolutely do that. That all depends on what Aaron Nola we get. But Topper put himself in a position. The Phillies offense and Ranger Suarez all put themselves in that position tonight. So that's going to kind of take us then to the crowd factor. Again, we've seen so many Astros fans and so many media outlets saying, well, the Astros have been through it. They've been through it. Regz, they looked like they wanted nothing to do. So I'm going to couple a couple of these things here together. I'm going to tie a couple of things here. They looked like they wanted nothing to do with the crowd after the Nick Castellanos catch. Nick
first
makes that catch. I mean, it was just like, I don't know. I don't know if it was McCormick who came out and he kind of he got really wide eyed when he ran out to all the booths. And that's a dude that half of that stadium doesn't even know about.
Yeah.
That's a dude who no one even, and Philly fans proved how smart they were tonight because they booed everybody but chanted cheater at Bregman, at
Alvarado.
Altuve,
Yeah.
and at Gurriel.
Yeah.
They only chanted cheater at the three guys who were on that roster in 2017. And that, again, on a national stage, the crowd showed that they are smart, that we are not just a bunch of people who boo and scream. We know what we're talking about as a fan base. We understand the game. Not once did the music hit before everybody in that crowd was standing up. John Smoltz said at the end of the game, I don't even know why they put seats in this stadium. Again, this crowd, this fan base. Bryce talked about it after the game.
Yep.
He talked about it in the dugout. Reese talked about it in the dugout. This fan base energizes. They're two different offenses.
Yeah, they're completely different.
They're two different offenses. I mean, what they do at home and on the road, two different things.
I mean, yeah, look, they still went out and scored 6 in game 1, which is a lot on the road.
Right.
Again, we saw in game 2 how they could quickly kind of be taken out of it. It's exactly what you said. This is a different animal in Philadelphia. 5 home runs. What? I don't even know what to say because they've done it in so many different ways. Tonight it was the homers. In that game against the Padres, where we were down 4 right away, it wasn't homers. Harper had 2 doubles. Stott had another double to score Castellanos, who also had a double. This team has this potential to do this with home runs. And we've said this since spring training when they put this lineup together. Even though I think it's very different with Brandon Marsh now in the 9-hole instead of what we did have with Gregorius and I'm not even going to mention the other guy. But this is just one way that the Phillies can beat you. If you're going to let them just mash, they will mash. But they've also shown that, okay, if we need to just get a bunch of singles, hit balls hard all over the place, we can do that too. But I don't know what else you have to say besides all hail our Lord and Savior Bryce Harper. That guy, to do it, to think about his last 2 swings in this stadium, a game-winning home run to send your team to the World Series, and then an absolute tone setter in a crucial game 3 back at home. I don't know, man. I don't know what else you can say about this guy, but good Lord,
not a whole lot.
10 more years.
Yeah, not a whole lot that you can say about Bryce. I mean, you mentioned it. 5 homers. Bryce homered, and then leading off the next inning, Bomer homered, and then Marsh a couple of batters later homered, and then they had Schwarber Reese inning with the back-to-backs. And again, every ball that there are no cheapies from Kyle Schwarber.
That thing hit 3/4 of the way up the batter's eye.
Everything's Titanic. Everything.
How does he hit it so hard?
Everything's Titanic. And I love when he gets one because he takes he does a step back.
Yeah.
But they also talked about on the broadcast. It's like it's the first game in World Series history where there have been 7 runs scored without a single runner in scoring position.
Isn't that amazing?
And the only time that the Phillies got a runner in scoring position was with 1 out, and they couldn't get him.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Segura and
classic Phillies,
right?
Classic Phillies. But that's one of those things that in a game like this, and again, I think. I was saying this to a friend of the show.
They were up 7-0 at that point, right?
The fans are also a little bit out of it at that point. You get up that big, and it's hard to stay as locked in. And the if that happens, it kind of hinders the offense. But also credit the Astros bullpen. They got a lot out of the guys that they put out there. That Stanek guy is a lot better than I think the Astros even believe he is. He certainly does not get as many opportunities as I thought he would. He's really tough.
Yeah.
And then Urquidy did a nice job. So they didn't use any of their guys tonight either, but you wouldn't expect them to in a 7-0 game.
Yeah, right. They weren't they're not gonna bring in a bunch of guys in that kind of game.
But they definitely saw something with McCullers tonight, and I don't know if that's an every game thing for him. So if we do see him again, then I'm wondering, what if you'll see a difference in regards to like his delivery. But there was definitely a leg kick thing that was telling his pitches that Bryce noticed, I think.
Yeah. So I think you're absolutely right. And they talked about it a lot on the broadcast. But I think also what I noticed is that he threw the same pitch a lot to the same person. Like in that Schwarber at bat, he went 4 changeups in a row. Schwarber just missed the 2 before he hit the bomb.
Yeah, he did.
And then like he literally just missed him. And then the third one he put into orbit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the
so
one he wanted. He wanted back.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of stuff like that. I'm not taking away that they saw something, and great for them and their video department and Kyle Long being able to recognize something like that and putting in the work to say, guys, something's going on here. That's a lot of people who have to tell a lot of people like, hey, something's happening. And then the hitters themselves are realizing it also. So good on them. Like that's what you're out there to do. And then I think he just threw a lot of the same pitches to these guys and they just saw it. Once you see something enough times, like if you're going to keep throwing it, they're major league players aren't going to miss it, 4 or 3 times. They're just not.
No. The one other thing that I want to talk about here, and then there are just a couple of broadcast points that I wanted to hit on here. But we know the Astros are a great team.
Yes,
we know that. Like we know how talented they are. We know how tough they are of a lineup. But man, what a difference in just pure grit and gumption. The Phillies go down on the road 5-0, battle themselves back into the game, win. Game 2, we talked about this. Down 5-0, but had the tying run at the plate in the 9th inning and never felt like they were out of it. Always like threatening every inning, always finding a way to threaten.
Yeah, just couldn't quite string it together.
At no point tonight did I feel like the Astros were interested in coming back. They didn't have at bats that felt like they were trying to come back. They just after Ranger got Altuve in the 5th.
Yeah.
It just and I know the Phillies scored, they poured on after that. I know that. But they just didn't have any at bats after that. I was like, all right, whatever. We're going to take the loss here and come back tomorrow.
I think when Ranger got 1, 2, 3 in the top on all of them swinging, they tried to pull a Wheeler. They tried to pull what they did in game 2. They went up there trying to string a bunch of hits together in the first inning to try and take the crowd out of it. And first of all, credit to Castellanos for making a great play.
It keeps going, man.
And then Ranger for just getting them to be out on the Alvarez fouled off a bunch of pitches, but ended up striking him out. But still, Altuve first pitch, Pena first pitch. And then a good at bat by Alvarez, honestly, to kind of change it up. But they were just trying to replicate game 2. And as soon as that happened, and then I think after we talk about this all the time, and you know how I feel about this. Those shutdown innings after you score runs
Yeah.
I don't think we could talk enough about how important they are in baseball.
Yeah.
And to just do that over and over and over again just sucks the life out of a team. Especially when your team can keep scoring and you can keep coming up the next inning and just putting up zeros. It's unbelievably important. And I feel it's such a big deal in terms of momentum of the game to just not allow a team to get back into it. The Rangers or the Astros don't need much. Like, just to string a couple hits together and get one run after Harper hits that homer, and they feel that game's completely different. But you go out, you put up a zero again, and then the offense feels like, okay, guys, like, we got this now.
You know, it shortens the game, obviously, right? Like you score a ball, you win the inning. That's the old saying, right?
Yep.
And I feel like I've said it a lot over my lifetime as a player, as a coach, as a fan. You win every inning, it shortens the game on the other team. And you know, the closer you get to that 27th out, the less confidence the other team feels about their ability to come back. And you know, when you put up 2 in the first and they come back out after not putting any up in the first, and then you shut them out again in the second, you put another one up in the bottom half, you come out, or they come back out in the third, they don't score again. And they're thinking to themselves, it starts to churn a little bit. Oh, we only have 18 outs left.
Yep, that's right.
We only have 12 outs left. Now we're down 7 and we only have 9 outs left. And in any level of baseball, trying to score 7 runs with 9 outs to go is difficult. They're a great team, and there's nothing to say that they won't come out tomorrow and put up a ton of runs, because that's the type of team they are. But there's a ton of confidence in what the Phillies did in rolling that over, which leads me into a couple of my broadcast points here. And the first one being, I don't know if it was the 8th inning. I think it was the 8th inning, top of the 8th or top of the 9th, where Smoltz was talking about how losing 7-0 is easier or better than losing, you know, by a walk-off. It's not as difficult to come back from. And, you know, I see some of that. But, Regz, I'm just going to, like, kind of speak to a personal experience here. Back when I was playing Legion ball, I believe it was my senior year, I was getting ready to, like, head to E-Town. And we were, like, the best team in the county by a lot. Like, by a lot. We lost, like, 4 games that year and won a couple of tournaments, like, in Jersey and Delaware. Like, we were really good. And we were playing a really young team from, like, the next, like, 2-3 towns over from us in the Northampton County Finals. And it was a best-of-3 series. And so we got the first game at home, and then they got the next game at home, and we got the last game at home. And, you know, they came out with, like, this young pitcher that we hadn't seen before. Actually, a soft-tossing lefty. Reminds me of somebody else.
There you go.
That we got to watch. A soft-tossing lefty that I actually played high school ball with. And they came out and scored 2 in the first on us, and we didn't score, and then they came back out and put up 2 more. And we loaded the bases in the bottom of the second, and I came up with 2 outs, and he locked me on a backdoor 3-2 breaking ball. Like, threw me a 3-2 curveball with the bases loaded in the bottom of the second inning on the road. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no way. He's going to throw me a fastball. There's no way.
Right. And
he threw me a 3-2 breaking ball and froze me. And they shut us out. They beat us 9-0. After that at bat, I don't think we had another runner the rest of the game.
Jeez.
And that we went to the next night, and they beat us again. They beat us like 4-1 or 5-1 or something like that. It was never really even close. And the reason I feel that was the case was because of they blew our doors out, and we started questioning ourselves a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, totally different level of baseball. I get that, and I'm not trying to say, but like, we were very heavily favored. We were 28-4 on the year. We had gotten to the finals the year before, gone to states the year before, won 2 games in states the year before. Like a really good team, like a machine in Northampton County Legion. And they did to us what the Phillies did to the Astros tonight. And I just, and you've played sports, like no loss feels good, especially in like a championship round. No loss feels good. Getting your doors blown off does not feel good. I don't know what. I get the idea of like, yeah, walk-off sucks.
Yeah.
No one wants to lose by walk-off.
Right.
But like getting completely embarrassed on national television and on the grandest stage of the entire sport. I mean, I don't know. Am I missing something?
No, I think the sort of essence of his point you can kind of understand. Because yes, a walk-off is much more devastating than just getting your doors blown off. But that doesn't take away from getting your doors blown off. I think that's where the disconnect is. He sort of is trying to say that getting blown out is okay. And like, no, John, it's not. Like, it makes a difference. When you come into a place that you've never been before, Houston has never been in this place.
Yeah.
The Yankees fans sure didn't bring it. Like, that's for damn sure. When you go into this place, and look, I will build Ranger Suarez up forever. Ranger is the 3rd best starter of a group of starters who really isn't that good. Like, if we just think about it, right? He is the 3rd starter. And if he was on a really good, let's just say Ranger Suarez is on the Braves, he's a 5th starter on the Braves.
He's gonna be our 5th starter probably by the middle.
But that's what I mean, right? And that's taking nothing away from Ranger Suarez. I want to make that very clear.
No.
But you just came into a place, you've never heard anything like it. You just saw a team tie the World Series record for home runs in a game. And you got shut out. All of that stuff matters. Is it as bad as getting a walk-off loss? No. Is it still bad? Yes. So I think the essence of his point is true. Like, yes, getting your doors blown off is not as bad as a walk-off. But to sort of push it aside and say, oh, they'll get over this. Like, to your point, no. What makes them come into tomorrow with any confidence? Like, what makes them, other than that, the fact that they hit Nola the last time, but like coming into this place after the win that we just got, tomorrow night's going to be that more amped up than tonight. And when you go, it's going to be that even more amped up.
Right. And again, I hear him and I I understand, like you said, the context in which it fits is like if it's a 6-6 game and Harper walks you off, yeah, there's a sense of devastation.
Sure.
But there's also a sense of just getting your ass handed to you.
Yeah, exactly.
And after you didn't hand their asses to them on the road, like when you were at home. Like you could argue, 5-2. You could argue, I guess, that they gave it to us, but nothing like this.
No,
nothing like this.
Nope,
this was a totally
that game did not feel like this.
Different game.
Yep.
No. Again, tying run at the plate in the 9th, or on deck. In the 9th.
Yep.
Also, while I'm, just while we're here, the Greater Philadelphia. I don't know if you saw this tweet or not. The Greater Philadelphia Severe Weather Twitter account. No, it's not an earthquake. Hashtag World Series 2022 at Phillies. Harper and Bohm home runs are literally registering on the Penn State University Brandywine seismograph station. The city is physically shaking.
My cousin,
say it again.
My cousin lives.
It's different. This is different.
My cousin lives in Philadelphia. He said, I can feel the stadium right now.
And people want us to put a dome over it?
Yeah, no.
It would explode if there was a dome.
The roof would fall down.
It would absolutely explode if they put it over that. I think real quickly, I can't wait to read some of the I can't wait to read some of the tweets or the quotes from the Astros players saying that the crowd didn't bother him tonight.
Yeah, where's Kyle Tucker at?
Yeah, how about it? Oh my gosh, I'd love to know what was being said to Gumby.
Let's get
out in
his
right
ass
field.
on a microphone.
So, real quickly, the other narrative that's driving me nuts by these two broadcasters is this idea that the Phillies are some like, super Cinderella that, had this miracle run. Like, I get that's what it looks like. I totally understand that's what it looks like from the outsider. This is not the Atlanta Braves of last year. The Atlanta Braves literally had Cinderella runs by like 3 dudes who didn't hit outside of like the 3 weeks of the postseason.
Yeah.
Like Jorge Soler, Jacques Peterson. Like these dudes did not hit for like the entire year and then all of a sudden hit. The Phillies are finally healthy. Like that's the difference. They finally have a good baseball manager. That's the difference. This isn't like when they said, "Oh, the 87 wins. It's the most improbable World Series win of all time." So let's keep that narrative, John. Keep the narrative.
Yeah.
Like we love the underdog stuff.
They tried to bring it back.
They did.
They did try and bring it back by saying, "Look, Houston has faced two like their division compared to our division, which had 200 plus teams, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit different." And they tried to give them credit by saying, "I think this Phillies team is better than that sort of 87 win total."
Right.
Which is what, welcome to the club. This is what we've thought for the entire season.
Simultaneously, your first 50 games of the year, you had an inept manager.
Yeah.
And, and then you finally get the manager, you get on a run and you lose your MVP for 2 freaking months.
Yeah.
And he's a 3-win player. He's a 3-WAR player. Like that's a huge difference. There's your 90 wins right there. Not to mention Segura and not to mention a month of Wheeler starts. Like again, like people just assume because they had 87 wins and snuck in the back door of the playoffs that they're not to this tier of baseball. They are. This is the tier of baseball that, and again, like they made improvements at the deadline. They got better in different areas. Like they improved defensively. Players started to play to the back of their baseball cards.
Yeah.
There's one guy who didn't consistently throughout the year, and that was Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
Everybody else played to the back of their baseball card at some point, especially toward the end of the year. And I'm tired of this. Like, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the underdog thing, and I hope it keeps going through the rest of the series. But I also want credit where it's due. So I guess I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth a little bit.
I completely get what you're saying. Listen, they have to do what they can to try. This is what broadcasts always do. And especially like this, they have to try and do what they can towards the team that nobody's rooting for. Like you've probably seen those fan maps and things like that with those polls. Like America is cheering for the Phillies, right? What is their job on a Fox broadcast? We need as many eyeballs on this thing as possible. So so they have to, like, especially when the Phillies are winning like this, they have to say what they need to say to keep anybody who's interested in the Houston Astros watching the baseball game. So that's why John Smoltz says, "Oh, getting blown out isn't as bad as losing a walk-off, and the Astros will come back tomorrow, and be ready to go." He has to say that. He needs people to watch. That's being plugged into him in his headset. John Smoltz isn't just saying that for no reason. Like, that thought doesn't come up. John Smoltz has played in enough baseball games where he knows what this win means for the momentum of the series. A producer told him, bring this up. That's just how it goes. Look, they're unbiased. air quotes for people listening. I'm throwing up air quotes. They're unbiased guys whose only job is to get as many eyeballs as possible. That's their only job. And in a game like this, they have to try and bring Houston fans back. They have to give them a reason to watch tomorrow. And that's what they did. And like, we can see through it, and we can see through the transparency. I think for all the good things John Smoltz has done, and this is what we love about like a guy like Tony Romo on the football side, he puts you in a place that you would never be. He puts you inside the mind of an actual professional baseball player and says, here's what I would do as a Hall of Fame pitcher if I was pitching right now. Here's what Tony Romo would do as a really good quarterback in the NFL. I see these safeties here, so here's what I would do. John Smoltz, this hitter has swung 2 times at this pitch. Here's what, in my mind, as an unbelievable baseball player would do in this situation. That kind of stuff is the crap that I love. And it's unbelievably informative. I think he keeps it at a level that the average fan would be into it as well, along with like the nutballs like you and I. But like every once in a while they have to go for the eyeballs, and they make stupid points, and they don't give the Phillies enough credit. And it's like you said, I'm going to take it all day, because you know what? We're just going to keep coming out and putting up 7 to 9 runs, and we're going to win the freaking World Series.
Well, let's hope they put up 7 runs tomorrow.
They will,
because if they can live to their average, I do feel like they're very tough to beat, especially with Nola. I think redemption Nola tomorrow. Yeah.
When me and my son have been in the building, they haven't put up less than 7. So
right, so you get that, you get redemption Nola, and you have your lockdown back end of Eflin Alvarado and Dominguez. Yep. It's very rested.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
they haven't pitched since Friday.
Yeah, no,
so
fantastic.
so very rested. Sir Anthony got a little work in the pen. Let's quickly just talk about Christian Javier, the starter for the Astros tomorrow, who honestly, Regz, is the pitcher that outside of Framber Valdez I'm most concerned about in this series.
Okay.
He's been awesome in the postseason. I mean, like lights out in the postseason.
I think they said 5 starts. He hasn't given up 1 run.
Well, and then he went to Yankee Stadium and went 5 2/3 without giving up a run.
Yeah, that stadium sucks.
Yeah, but it was game 3, so there was still a little bit of electricity there, right? Because they needed that game.
Yeah,
it's not going to be Citizens Bank. Like, Don't get me wrong. Let's just talk a little bit about what he does, because he's a little different than what they've seen the last 2 nights. So he is a fastball heavy pitcher.
Okay.
Throws his 4-seamer 60% of the time. So that's a lot different than what they've seen. You know, Framber throws a lot of breaking stuff. McCullers obviously throws a lot of breaking stuff.
Yeah.
He throws his slider 28% of the time, averages about 80 miles an hour there. His fastball averages about 94. Throws his curveball 8% of the time, 77 miles an hour, and his changeup 4% of the time, 85 miles an hour. I think the one thing that when I look at his heat maps with his pitching, he lives a little bit more up in the zone, which is that is the Phillies.
Yeah, the Achilles heel. Yeah,
as a lineup.
Yeah.
Especially the lefties in this lineup. Bryce is susceptible up there. If there's one place that Bryce is susceptible, it's up there. Bryson's susceptible up there. Marsh is susceptible up there.
Schwarber.
So, yeah, Schwarbs can get to it though. Schwarbs doesn't worry me as much. He'll get to it. Bryce is
missing it right now. Yep,
he's missing it right now, and especially the up and in fastball.
Yes.
So if Javier is locating it tomorrow, he's going to be a real challenge.
Okay.
Just a couple more little things, and just a couple more anecdotes about him. In terms of his percentile rankings across baseball, he ranks in the 82nd percentile in hard hit percentage. So not a lot of hard hit baseballs off of this dude. He ranks in the 82nd percentile of whiff percentage. So a lot of swings and misses. 79th percentile in fastball swing spin, and it feels like every single one of these Astro pitchers is in this realm. 92nd percentile in curve spin.
Yeah.
His K percentage is 94%. His exit batting or his fastball velocity is average. His chase rate is below average. His walk rate is below average. So there are ways to get to him. Our boy Jack Fritz said that, agreed with me in the sense of, like, this is the dude that we're most concerned about. Outside of Fromber, who's just really good. But yeah, man, that's who they're facing tomorrow. And if the offense can do what they've been doing, which is create stressful innings, create stressful at-bats, stressful pitches, then they're going to be fine because they're going to capitalize on it. But that it's not an easy, he is not, now he got lit up by the Braves last World Series. So the hope is that the Phillies do it to him again.
So listen, here's my only thing. All they talked about with Verlander was that he lives with a fastball up. And look, it took him a few innings to get something going, but they still came out and scored 5 runs.
Yeah.
And the juice of this place for this offense is, you're exactly right. It is the Phillies' kryptonite, those upper half fastballs. But if we saw anything tonight, like, these guys are prepared for these pitchers. Mm-hmm. They're doing what they have to do to be prepared. And maybe unlike tonight, maybe they lay off them for the first couple innings. Again, right. Who knows? Who knows what will happen? But I just think that was sort of Verlander's key to success, was that high fastball. And was it successful? Yes, it was. But did they figure it out? Yes, they did. And that would just be my thought on that approach, is that hopefully they realize that, and Kevin Long is getting them prepared for that, and they go up there and they're just going to take those pitches, like, beat us anywhere else in the zone but high. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Phillies, all the pressure's on Houston, and it's not a great place to play baseball when all the pressure's on you, because this crowd, this fan base, they add all the more to you. And we had a cool customer on the mound tonight, and if there's anybody who compares in that category to Ranger Suarez, it's Aaron Nola. Aaron is as cool as it gets, sometimes almost too cool.
Yeah.
So, we certainly hope that, tomorrow the energy brings a little bit of life to the team the way it has this entire postseason. They're now 6-0 at home in the postseason, and I know that they'll love to be 7-0 after tomorrow and 8-0 after Thursday night. Real quickly, great Instagram post from I think it was Shane tonight, or no, it was Mickey Morandini.
Yeah.
Dude, unbelievable Instagram post of a bunch of guys in the one of the boxes. It's like Ryan Howard and Jason Worth and Raul Ibanez, Ben Revere's there. Talk about a name from the back. I don't think he was in it, but Chase Utley in Philly,
he was
tonight,
in the building,
wearing the exact outfit he wore to the 2008 parade. Beanie and all. Beanie and all, Regz. I think, here's my take. Tomorrow, you're not just seeing Jimmy Rollins throw out the first pitch. You're seeing Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley throw out the first pitch to Larry Boa and Manny Trio.
Wow.
That's
that would
my
be
take
unbelievable. And then what do you get? You get the Lidge to
I
Chooch.
get Brad Lidge to Chooch.
All right. That would be unbelievable.
I mean, but when are they incorporating Charlie?
I think Charlie just stays in his box and they show him on the Jumbotron.
They got to find a way to get that guy on the field, Regz.
Charlie can't throw.
He doesn't need to throw. Can they do an honorary lineup card guy?
Maybe, but why mess with the juju? I love Charlie, as you know.
Keep Charlie in the box.
Keep him in the box. Let him chill. Have him talking to all his boys. Show him on the Jumbotron. Let everyone get happy. Just, Charlie, we love you, but you're going to stay right here, pal.
I think the only thing I'm really sad about, Regz, and this is like so far out there, that on Thursday night, if and when they have the opportunity to clinch, that there can't be any Eagles in the stadium.
I know, that sucks.
To be part of it. Because you know, they've been super supportive throughout. Sirianni's been at the games. Kelsey's been at the games. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, like they've had dudes at that. Like Jalen Hurts was supposedly at the game tonight. I didn't see him, but someone said that he was there. Like these guys they're like all
the Flyers wore all Phillies jerseys to their game in New York tonight.
I mean, it's just like the whole city right now.
Yep.
And I wonder, do the Sixers play
Thursday night? I don't know.
On Thursday, I'm going to look this up because if not, Joe will be there.
Yeah.
Sixers play at home tomorrow. They do not play Thursday, and they play at home on Friday.
Yeah, they'll be there Thursday.
So there'll be a bunch of them because Tyrese Maxey was at the game tonight.
Tobias Harris was there tonight. Yeah,
they were there together. So I'd assume, whether they can win the whole thing or not on Thursday. Which
they will.
I was going to say I just have this like little inkling. And it'd be great.
We can't talk about it too much.
No. But can I just say just one more thing that would just be beautiful? And then I promise we can be done for
It's
the
your
night.
podcast.
There's so much to talk about, and I just feel like
we still have to shout out some people to talk about your story from the other night.
I mean, I was gonna do that in like our next regular episode.
Oh no, we're doing it tonight.
Okay. I just don't feel like everybody listens to these, and I feel like we need to like wait for a regular episode, but I'll do it if you want me to. What was I gonna say? You forced me to lose my.
Sorry, damn it. Your one additional thought: Sixers, Flyers, them winning on Thursday is what we were talking about.
It wasn't any of that.
It was. We were talking about them winning on Thursday, and then I said I don't want to talk about it that much. And you said, "Can I just say one more thing?"
Yeah. I got it.
We're bringing it back. We're bringing it back.
You brought me back. Don't push me off again.
I'm sorry.
How great would it be to be up 3-1 and former Met Noah Syndergaard starting the game for the Phillies in a potential closeout? It's his Bank Park. Like, is there a better storyline in baseball than that?
Besides,
I hope Brandon Nimmo's watching.
Besides him maybe breaking his ankle on a sprint to first after a walk.
I mean, unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Well, Regz, am I telling this story or are we signing off for tonight?
No, you can hold it. Hold it for when you want to.
I feel like we need to hold it for like a regular episode.
That's fine.
Because I feel like we only get a select like number of people that listen to these.
Dude, the last couple of YouTube videos have been in the 25s.
Wow, look at us. Maybe my new friends.
They'll be
Keith
watching.
And Skylar.
Yeah.
They're watching.
They'll be watching.
How about it? Well, there's your first shout out, guys.
That's
I haven't told the story.
We got the full story in the next real episode.
If you're watching, shout out to you guys.
Shout out to you guys.
Shout out to everybody who's listening.
That's right.
It's unbelievable. Well, buddy, you're going to be there tomorrow. I don't know what to say. I know that we haven't really done a true fixated, but like I've kind of done like a short one here over the last couple of.
Can I just say one thing?
Please. It's your show too.
I'm not trying to take away your fixated, but I feel like
I don't care.
I feel like
the Phillies need 2 more wins.
I feel like this can kind of be it. Again, the green fixated sweatshirt will be out in full tomorrow. So if you're watching on TV and see a spot of green somewhere, that's your boy.
Where are you sitting?
310. First row though, so
I'll look for you when Bryce goes up or tank.
That's right. So tomorrow night, Aaron Nola.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off 2 not good starts. We've talked about him and Wheeler are getting fatigued. They're just tired. and especially Nola has pitched a lot. Wheeler has had some time off due to injury, not getting into spring training right away. Nola has been there this whole time.
Yep.
I think we're kind of seeing the same thing, but it hasn't drawn as much attention as Wheeler because Wheeler is the ace. If Aaron Nola can come out and be Aaron Nola tomorrow, you will be at Citizens Bank Park for the Phillies winning the World Series. I think as important as tonight was, and I really truly believe it was an unbelievably important game.
Yes.
In terms of momentum, in terms of setting up the bullpen, in terms of getting Ranger on track. It was getting this offense back in sync. It was an unbelievably important game. But if tomorrow happens and Aaron Nola pitches like Aaron Nola and this offense continues to do what it does at home, Azzy, you will be watching a World Series win, and you will be watching them celebrate on the field a World Series in 2022.
Regz, they're going to have to kick me out of the stadium if that happens. I'm not going to leave.
No, that's fine.
I'm not leaving.
You're going to record from your seat.
I'm not leaving. So yeah, this journey, and again, this is why we did the podcast, right? Like we did this podcast because we wanted the full journey of a Philadelphia sports fan. And if you listen back to Girardi days in May and June, early June,
Joe's got to go.
I mean, till now, there have been so many ups and downs. I mean, the June run was incredible. Mm-hmm. We had a lot of fun in July, and then we hit August, and still kind of hanging around, and then September rolled around. And if you go back even just a month in our episodes, I called these dudes a bunch of losers.
6 episodes ago.
I called them a bunch of losers.
Yep.
Who play loser baseball.
Yep.
And visceral reactions.
Yeah. This is how we live.
This is and if you watch the pregame tonight, there was a really cool montage. It was about a minute and a half, and it was about Philadelphia, and they talked to a bunch of the players, and there's just these little clips, these like one-liners of the players saying what they love about Philly, and JT says it. He's like, they'll tell you when you're not playing well. They're not afraid to tell you that. They don't care what you make. They don't care who you are. If you're not playing well, they tell you. Like, that was his point in his like one-liner that he had in this minute and a half clip.
Yep.
And, I think we are a really good embodiment of that on this show. Like, we react.
Yep.
And we're really hard on them.
Yeah. Like,
we are. And they don't listen. They don't care about us.
They don't.
They don't care at all.
But
again, like this is what this show was about. It's why you asked me to do it. It's why I decided to do it. And it's why stories like last night are like a big deal. So they are 2 wins from a World Series. We will be there with you every step of the way.
Literally.
Regz is in the building tomorrow. Joseph's in the building tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
Joseph's in the building tomorrow. I'll be in the building on Thursday. Regz, here's what I'm going to say. Be the Alvarado to my Dominguez, bro. Get me that ball in the 9th. I'm
just going to set you up, baby.
Bring me home.
That's right.
I will take us home if you get me the ball. That place needs to be rocking tomorrow. We need vintage Aaron Nola tomorrow.
Yep.
And we need this offense to continue. I will tell you this right now. They win tomorrow, it's done on Thursday.
It's done. It's over.
If they win tomorrow, it is done on Thursday. If they lose tomorrow, I'm worried.
Yes.
But if they win tomorrow, it is over on Thursday.
Yep.
There's no doubt in my mind that this Astros team will fold because that place will be absolutely electric.
Yep.
So
1,000% with you.
It's amazing that we've come this far. This journey has been incredible. # you're welcome from the Phixated Podcast.
That's right.
But guys, thanks for listening. I'm going to record a quick reaction video here before I call it a night. Make sure you click subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. Regz, you got to do an update at some point here soon of like where we're at in YouTube subscribers.
We're at 23.
All right.
We need two more for 25. Come on, people.
All right. Come on, people. If you're listening, click subscribe. It doesn't take a lot of effort.
It's free.
It's literally a click of your right index finger.
It's one click.
What are we doing? Make sure you follow us on all your podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcasts. Click subscribe. Please rate as well. Definitely gets us out there to more people, gives us a larger platform. And we've got a lot of sports to go. Even after the Phillies win the World Series, we've got Birds football, we've got Sixers basketball, and heck, we might even mix in a little Union if they get the job done.
That's right, man.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
In the championship game, Eastern Conference champions.
Can you imagine if in the same week those two things happen? Get out. Get out.
Yep.
The city will burn. I kid. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at B&B Podcast. You can follow us at that same handle on Twitter. You can follow us at the Phixated Pod on Twitter as well. Follow me at the Mic Drop 5. I've been very quiet on both accounts out of pure superstition. Superstition.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself to tweeting because I haven't done it all postseason.
Nope. We're just riding it. We're riding it, baby.
We're riding it, and we're going with Old Faithful.
That's
People
right.
have been listening to us, not trying to gain more followers this way. You can follow Regz at Big Regz with a Z. He has also not been tweeting during the postseason. We have been silent.
Very minimal.
Twitter. Yep. Radio silence on Twitter. All bets are off if they win it, though. All bets are off. I will be obnoxious on social media.
We're going nuts.
And certainly follow us on the Phixated fan page on Facebook as well. You can click for merchandise in the description. The merchandise is sweet.
It is.
It is really, really comfortable and really sweet. I get compliments everywhere that I wear it.
It's good stuff.
Even my friends who weren't complimenting during Trick or Treat about the show itself, that's a little slip in of the story. We're complimenting the actual merchandise that I was wearing. So make sure you click and get yourself a little bit of merch as we head toward a possible World Series title. Guys, we love you. We appreciate you listening. Make sure you are kind to someone these next couple of days. Good karma means everything. Be good. Take care. Be safe. Go Phils. Ring the bell.
2 more wins, Topper.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.